There's probably going to be some bad language in this, so you might not want to let the kids watch. What is going on, you filthy ratbags? The wino is back! Yes, he's back! And I'm not expecting a lot of people to watch this one because it is coming in a week late. I realise that. Internet problems at the old wino's house. It fucking sucks because I've been on lockdown for this is week 8 now. And to have almost a week with no internet sucked balls. Let's be honest though, my internet was fixed a little bit before today. I probably could have got it in a couple of days ago, but in this lockdown, the wino's gotten weak. He sprung for a little green, and the motivation goes down a little bit when he's on the green. I'm human. What am I going to say? But, by the time the internet was up and running again, I thought, may as well just smash the 2 out in the one day, wait until the next step comes out and get that going. And once again, we got the story of the season. Meh for the show leading up to the fight. Fight was decent. Wasn't the best fight this time. It was a first round finish, but there wasn't a huge amount of back and forth in it. It was still entertaining to watch, but we'll get into that when I get into the fight at the end. We'll breeze through the shit that happened before the fight, because really, once again, not very interesting. So the episode starts out with a prank. And decent prank from Ortega, getting a bunch of snakes brought into Volk's room, and it kind of double got Volk, because one, you had the scared moment when he opens the door and there's snakes there, but then he also got Volk with Volk trying to be I'm Australian, I don't mind snakes, I'll take this one on the chin, and he goes in there and he tries to handle that big ass fucking, what was it, a Burmese python? Looked Burmese to me. And it's heavier than he expects it to be, and it starts getting around the neck a bit, and he ended up in a little more trouble than he expected, trying to play it all laissez-faire, and actually looked a little silly in the end. So Ortega got that one, and look, Ortega gets the coach's challenge in this episode too. We have the coach's challenge for the season, and they were playing fucking cornholing. You Yanks are weird, eh? You got a game called cornholing? It's like us, instead of setting up backyard cricket at the Barbie, we go, hey, you boys, want to go for a game butt fucking? Fucking hell. But, anyway, the competition itself, well, it was a bit of fun, as the coach's challenge always is, a bit of barbing back and forth, but they didn't get too much juice out of it, because Ortega pretty much dominated Volk. It wasn't even close. But, good work for Ortega, by giving, he wins 10 grand and he milks another 2 out of Dana, and then he gives that to Volk's team. So Ortega's team get 1,500 each, Volk's team gets 1,500 each. Nice little gesture from Ortega there. In between the snake prank and the coach's challenge, they just kind of rolled into each other while I was talking then, because they were a bit of fun. But in between that, we did see a little cameo from Cerrone. Not too much to talk about his cameo. It's not like him and Volk are actually training together or anything. They just ran into each other at the PI, and Volk's like, you want to come down, talk to the team? And Cowboy's like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And most of what you saw from him, he did a little rolling and shit, but it was mostly his speech about and his speech was all about enjoy it while you're here. And you can tell that's kind of where he's at in his career. One, that is what he's done his whole career. He's been enjoying it, but he knows he's coming towards the end now, and he's enjoy these moments while you can. Enjoy the weight cuts. Enjoy the fights falling through even. Just enjoy being around your mates and having a good time. So that was the main thing about Cerrone. Not too much to comment on there, as I already said, but look, if Cerrone shows up in an episode of Tough, you got to make note of it. Now let's just get into the fight, because there's not too much else from the episode to even bother talking about. And Jesus, Wino's gone 0-3 in these semi-picks. He's happy for it though, because all these 3 picks I picked a Team Ortega fighter, and Volk's gone 3-0. This one, funnily enough, was the first one, because the last 2 I picked mainly on the strong grappler beating the striker, and all the guys in this competition are well-rounded. You got to be at this point if you're trying to get into the UFC. It's not like the old days where you could come in one style. I mean, there are some guys who still kind of get away with that to a certain degree, But like, even look at someone like Ryan Hall. He's added a whole bunch of like karate and stuff to his game, so he can keep it at distance and bring it into his jiu-jitsu game. But I just went on a tangent there. Basically, what I'm saying is everyone's well-rounded, but even when you have everyone well-rounded, you still have the things that you fall back on and that you're best at and everything like that. And usually, if I see striker versus grappler matchup, I'll pick the grappler because it's the old, you know, the striker needs to land something on you and pretty much drop you, whereas the grappler, if he can get through those punches and get his hands on you and can take you down, then you're in trouble. Where the striker comes in is when he learns enough grappling to be able to stop you doing that or to survive until you get tired, like we saw the last week with Petrovsky in Battle, and which we saw one of the first big striker versus grappler striker wins when Maurice Smith beat Mark Coleman way back in the day. But once again, I digress. And yeah, so those ones I picked mainly on the grappling strength, and it just turned out the other dudes had enough to fuck with it. Whereas this time I actually picked the more striking heavy guy. I picked Vince when Brady's more of the grappler because I thought Vince would have enough, like he's such a veteran, and I think if I'm recalling correctly, he trains at Alpha Male where they have really good wrestling and grappling, especially, you know, wrestling defense. You'd think they'd be rolling it all the time. So I was like, he's going to be wily enough. He's going to have to, you know, stand up to a storm from Brady, but he'll be wily enough to not get finished. Let Brady really gas himself going hard in those grappling exchanges. And then as the fight goes on, his veteran nous take over and those heavy hands start showing. But we didn't get to that point. And it's a little unfortunate for Vince here. But, you know, it's the way the fight game goes. Brady gets a takedown in the first minute, and Vince is like kicking him off and things like that. But Brady's doing well to keep him down because it's not like it used to be. Like, not even that long ago, like 10 years maybe. Like, if someone got taken down, it was a bit of an effort for him to get back up. Whereas now people just wall walk so easily. They like treat the mat like hot lava. As soon as the back hits the mat, they're onto a hip or, you know, looking to get the feet on the hips and push off and create space and get back up. Like, no one accepts that bottom ground position nowadays. And what I thought would happen would be Vince would have, one, the takedown defense, but also the get back up ability to counter Brady. But Brady gets him down, and Vince is kicking him off at first, and Brady's doing well to stay on top here. And at some point early on in this exchange, Vince, his knee goes out, and it locks, and he really can't move too much of it from there. And you do see a bit of a noticeable change from when he's first taken down and he's kicking off like crazy and until the rest of the round, really, which is basically Brady transitioning into better positions and throwing ground and pound, and Vince at times working back to another position, but never looking like he's going to get up. Whereas early on, looked like he might be able to get up. And until you saw the end and saw that his knee went out, like you thought, oh, Brady just has the wrestling to do that. Because quite often you'll see people fight off that initial takedown to get back up a bit, and if the guy's good enough, he keeps getting them down, it breaks their will, and eventually they stay on the ground, which this could have been, but apparently not. And there's not too much else to say about the fight. Brady showed great top control, he showed great positional awareness, he also showed that, you know, he'll get that position, but then he'll look to do damage, which is very important in scoring points in modern MMA. And by the end, he did just get Vince's back and flattened him out and finished him with punches, ground and pound, TKO. None of them looked particularly big, but it's just Vince wasn't fighting back anymore after most of a round without being able to use his leg and getting dominated. He'd pretty much had enough. And, yeah, we get Brady through to the next round. I've got to say, look, I'm happy for a Team Vault guy to win, but I did feel for Vince in the little interview after the fight, how he went through that brain surgery shit, when he was already signed to the UFC and he had a fight and he had to pull out because he had to go get brain surgery. And now he's in the Ultimate Fighter and he's got the semi-final shot to get into the finale and his knee locks up when he gets taken down. But you feel for the guy. You imagine you'll get a fight on the finale, but like, yeah, he's looking like it's last chance saloon, and he seems like a nice guy. So it's a shame for him to have to lose that way. But them's the breaks. That's the episode. Catch you in about 2 minutes for the next episode. Because like I said, I fucked up this week. Catch ya.